Good evening, Yogesh. Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Hey, good evening, Lady. How are you?
Hi. I had a nice lunch. How are you? How did you have a lunch?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think everyone are allowed now. I'm just waiting for Wally. No, he's there now. Wally and Hisan is not attending. And who's the other guy?
Can you confirm, Lady? Akshaya was asking the exam date. It's the next.
Okay.
Yeah. So can you just explain about the
I
exam
will
so that
explain
everyone
it.
is?
Yes, sir. I will do. So there is just like an email that was sent to you guys that your exam is on 27. You just have to disregard it. Our exam will be next week, November 20th. I'll send you a confirmation email with your exam logon and password. So I guess it's all clear now.
They initially told us it's on the 27th, so we all were expecting 27th because.
Yeah, that's what I'm explaining, Akshaya. There was just an error in sending the dates, so it's not
Yeah,
on
but
20.
that's a bit of a short notice, right? Because we all planned for 27th because I have taken days off, from work for next week.
Okay, I'll discuss it to you offline, Akshaya. I'll be giving you another option for exam. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I think we can start now.
Lagi na ako mga July.
All right. So this is our last session for CHRM, and today we are going to have a very important topic, which is HR budgets and audits. So I think today this topic is not very lengthy. I hope it can get over by half an hour before the class. If you have any questions, meanwhile, you can write down those questions, and once we finish the module, you can ask those questions, or you can go through your notes. Anything which you feel we need a revision, we can discuss about those areas. All right. Okay, so welcome everyone, and today we are going to talk about HR budgets and audit. So we need to understand here the concept of budgeting. Everyone understand what is HR? We need to understand what is called budget. If I ask you how you are going to define budget, what is budget? And even more important question will be, what is the purpose of budget? So what is budget and what is the purpose or the concept of budget? Just ignore the spelling here, okay? So budget is financial plan for a specific period of time. All right. The financial plan for a specific period of time. Okay. Budget is income versus expenses. Income and expenses. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else? All right. Let's take it. Let's for now accept this definition. Very simple definition that financial plan for for a specific period of time. Okay, which is account receivables, account payables, profits, margins, cost, everything is included in the budget. So it's a comprehensive financial plan for a specific period of time. What is the purpose of budget? What is the purpose of having a budget? Why an organization needs to have budget? Now, naturally, to have a better financial planning, you may say, but still, that is not the concept of budgeting. That is not the purpose of budgeting. It is something else. Don't you think purpose of budget is allocation of financial resources? And I should say the right allocation, isn't it? The right allocation of financial resources. Now, let's try to think about it. For example, a very simple example would be take a product like pen. This is a simple product and we are a trading company. So what trading company does? We buy this finished product from our manufacturer or supplier in, let's say, X dirham. Now we are going to budget. So if I bought the raw material in X dirham, I will make some expenses on this, isn't it? Let's say I make 5 dirham on packaging. Then I add 5 dirham for sales and marketing and assume a profit over that. And then I will have the final price, which is, let's say, X plus 15. That's my final price, which covers my expenses as well as the profit. Now, if I'm buying this pen in X dirham and then I'm spending money on this, and then there is profit also on this, who is going to pay all that money? Who is going to pay all that money? The customer, right? Customer is going to pay all that money. How do we know that the amount of money that we are spending on this pen in marketing, sales, and packaging? We assume that there are only two costs, but usually the number of the costs are really high. But let's assume marketing, packaging cost, which is coming out to be 10 dirham. How do we know that those 10 dirham are justified or not? Very simple question. How do we know that those 10 dirham are justified or not? If the customer is happy to pay those extra 10 dirham, yes or no? If the customer is happy to pay those 10 dirham extra plus the raw material cost plus our profit, if the customer is happy to pay for that, then we say that the money that we spent is the right allocation of financial resources. Yes or no? If this pen becomes so expensive that nobody buys the pen, or the cost becomes so ridiculously high, or there is no value in the pen for the customer, there is no satisfaction in the mind of the customer, then we have wasted our resources. Isn't it so? So what I'm trying to get at, because why it is important for us to understand, because HR people do not usually have background of budgeting. We do not have the knowledge and understanding of this simple financial concept, that why we add anything to the organization's bottom line, why we add any single dirham, is because it should give us more value for the customer. That is the purpose, that is the goal of budgeting. So when we say HR budget, what does it mean? It means spending in the HR function in such a way that your customer gets better products or better services. Isn't it so? So that our customer is more satisfied, so that our customer is sustained, we get more out of customer. If we are doing that, then our HR expense is going in the right direction. If we are not doing that, then we are not doing the right allocation of our financial resources. That is the concept. And what it tells us is that every expense is expected to have a return on investment. It's a very simple but very important logic principle that you need to understand. Every expense is expected to have a return on investment. Return on investment may happen in form of profits. Return on investment can happen in form of branding, quality, customer satisfaction, sustainability. All these are various ways where we can say that return is happening. All right. So when you spend a single dirham for your HR budget, you need to ask this question to yourself: what value we are adding to the customer? If an HR person makes sure that he's answering this question every time when he's allocating some funds, HR budget can never go wrong. Yes or no? If we are always asking this question to ourselves, that by spending these 100 dirham, how is it going to have a return on investment, or how is it going to positively impact the customer? If we ask this question regularly, we will never go wrong in budgeting. And many HR professionals, they lack this insight that budgeting doesn't mean granted investment or resources which are just cost of doing operations. No, it's not just the cost of doing operations. It is value for the customer in the end. Okay, so I hope by now you understand when we say budget, what does it mean? But the right allocation of financial resources, where each resource that you are spending is expected to have a return on investment or positive return on investment. Then we will talk about the budgeting, right? So now you understand what is the right HR budget. So not only we need to have the right HR professionals, practices, alignment, but the right cost. And what is the cost? How do you know it is the right cost? It should have a positive return on investment. All right. So I I usually find it very important to share this with people in HR, is because most of the HR people, they don't really understand the concept of value and concept of budgeting. Okay, so value means anything which enhances the customer's experience is value. Like I gave you example of the pen, something which enhances, improves experience of the customer is value. Okay, so that's why we say 80% of people do not, HR people do not understand budgeting, and they struggle with three main problem areas: accurately capturing what is in the HR budget or what is not in the budget. Also, they don't really understand how HR employee spend their time, where do they spend their time, and where they should actually spend their time. And also, HR is a very overlapping function in terms of responsibilities, in terms of resources, because there are a lot of activities which are shared between the line manager and HR. Okay. So HR has an increasing role to play in the strategic initiatives. We all discussed about it previously. And the purpose of budgeting is for the organization to achieve its goals, right? So in budgeting, there is no one size fit all strategy. Budgeting is a very wide area. It depends on so many factors like your industry, like your strategy, your business strategy, your corporate strategy. Sometimes your strategy tells you for how long you need to invest and then how to expect returns. I gave you, like we discussed in CHRP, many examples. For a cost leadership company, you may have to invest a lot of money first in order to get a return. So it's a long term return on investment that you are expecting. Whereas in differentiation, you are actually creating the value. So your focus is first creating the value and then decide the cost. Whereas in cost leadership, you want to play with the cost all along. So because we are having various strategies, we are having various types of industries, and depending on the even the size of the organization, budgeting is a very complicated topic. So we cannot have a common approach towards budgeting for all the companies, but we'll try to understand some common approaches which many companies use. Because you can see, no, sometimes some companies may take one expense as a part of HR expense. The same expense is seen as part of operational expense in other company. There are some areas which are taken into financial expenses in some company, whereas in some companies they are taken into operational or HR expenses. So it's a very like I said, overlapping kind of area, which overlaps definitely with different functions and different departments. Now, there are two common methods, however, in budgeting. One is what we call incremental budgeting, and second is zero-based budgeting. Now, as the name suggests, incremental budgeting simply means increasing the budget from the last year. Last year, my budget was 1 million. This year, my budget is 1.1 million. Incremental budget. Then what is zero-based budgeting? Zero-based budgeting means starting with zero. Every year, starting with zero. Now that would be incremental budgeting. We discussed zero-based budgeting, if you remember earlier. Every HR person should also have knowledge of costing codes and accounting heads. Costing codes and accounting heads. Now here also I see a lot of confusion in people. What is a costing code? When we create budget, there are two parts. One is costing and second is accounting. They are two different things, right? Costing is all the expenses that you make, and accounting includes both incoming and outgoing. They both are part of, which means account payables, receivable, they all are part of accounting. So when you are deciding your costing codes, HR department should be considered in those costing codes. Similarly, accounting heads also must be considered during when you are creating accounting heads. I will give you many examples on this, but take a simple example. Visa cost. Visa cost is what? Is it an HR expense? Or is it operational expense? Or is it so where should we book visa cost? Admin expense, operational expense, HR expense. Where do you book? Visa is a cost, right? Is it an HR expense? Or is it operational expense? Very good, Yathiraj. It is, yes, very good. It is operational expense. So it is cost of doing business. So visa cost is an operational expense. Right? All right. So like I said, we talk about it. We'll make it clear for you. Don't worry. But you need to know. Many HR people don't even bother about these things. That what is a costing code? Why should I care? What is accounting heads? Why should I care? You should care. It's very, very, very important. As you rise in your, within HR function, you rise in your role. You are responsible for profit and loss. You need to understand all the accounting and costing heads very clearly. Okay. Okay. So, like I said, we will talk about it in detail. There are, so because this is something which we need to understand, and I can give one small example which will help you to remember what we are discussing. In our company, I remember once our CEO, managing director, they were having a meeting and CHRO was called. I was there in the meeting. And our managing director was especially unhappy with the amount of money our company was spending in the manpower. And he was furious and he said to the CHRO that look at the balance sheet and look at the HR expenses. We are spending more than 20-25% of our revenue as HR expense. How is it good for any company? And there is no scope for profits with this kind of expense in our HR. So, my CHRO, he was in a position where he couldn't say yes, so he couldn't say no. And he said, this budgeting, I'm not satisfied with the kind of budgeting that is happening in this company. And it is not right approach towards budgeting. And then the managing director said, so explain to me why you said that it is not the right way of budgeting. And our CFO was sitting there also. He said, look, guys, In your operations, you have 65 branches across the country. Now, each branch is having a different cost and a different way of managing the operations. In some branches, you have 3 cashiers. The same size branch, in some other location, you have 1 cashier. Now, a similar branch with similar workload is having 3 cashiers in some other location, which means we are spending 3 times money. And when I asked this to the operation head, the executive director, he says, this is how we operate. You know, this is needed depending on our business nature. So then he said, if we are not allowed to speak in terms of operations, if we don't have any say, then what is the point of asking us questions like this? How you can ask questions pertaining to the expenses which we do not have any control on? We do not have any control over these expenses which are related to the branches and the operations, yet you ask us questions, which is not right. So anyway, in that company, he gave us, so the managing director said, so what would you propose? And he said, very simple, let's divide our budget into 3 parts, which we are discussing today. And he said, let's have internal budget. In the next meeting, I will present you what is our internal HR budget. Then I will present you operational. Then I present you organizational. So what he was talking about is the same thing which we are discussing here. The so-called HR budget which you today know is actually a combination of these 3 budgets. First is internal budget. What is internal? Anything that is spent on HR. Any money that is spent on HR department. What could that be? Salary of HR people? Any commissions, incentive of HR people? Training of HR people? Administration expenses of HR people? Traveling of HR people? All this is part of internal HR budget. So the investment that you are making on your HR department is your internal budget, is your internal HR budget. Is it clear? Not salary of all the employees, but salary of HR employees only. And then my CHRO said that managing director, that what I have found in my analysis is that we have the least HR budget, the internal HR budget, when we compare it with our top 3 competitors. Out of these 3 competitors, we have the least HR cost. And he said, in fact, we need to increase the HR cost so that we can control the operational and organizational part. So, second is operational. Like I told you, budgeting is something which you can control. How you can control line managers from hiring a person with a specific skills, or even in the number of people that they need to hire. It is very difficult to control line managers, right? So if you are not able to control that, then you cannot be questioned for that. If you are being questioned for that, then you should be able to control that also. You need to have some power in the organization, yes or no, even if the line manager asks for it. So internal HR budget is the cost of HR function. Operational budgeting is usually the cost which HR facilitates. The amount of money which is spent on smooth operations is operational budget. So salary of all operation staff is operational budget, not HR budget. Training of all these staff is operational budget. Visa cost is operational budget, right? And third is organizational budget. There will be certain things which are neither internal HR nor operational, like for example a strategic training for the leadership team, strategic management training. That is organizational budget. Company's internet or intranet is organizational budget. Any CSR activity, corporate social responsibility activity, is it HR budget? Is it HR cost? Is it operational cost? No, it is organizational budget. All right. Now, I hope you can understand the difference between three: internal versus operational versus organizational. Great. So, in the budgeting, we use the historical data, obviously, last year's data, previous 3, 4, 5 years data. And we also look into any percentage of change. For example, during COVID period, we will reduce our budget in everything, right? We will reduce the training budget, we will reduce the manpower budget, etc., during the COVID situation, because we are expecting lesser revenue and you are expecting less profit also. So you need to decide all the budget basis of various factors, which includes the market situation, which includes the inflation, which includes the even to that extent it includes the share market or other trends that are happening in the market. Now, there are different types of elements which fall under HR, but like I said, which can be further or should be further divided into all the three parts like we discussed. Let's talk about some elements of HR budget, such as selection and placement. So I want to ask you guys, what is your take on this? Skill testing of the employees. What kind of budget it is? Is it HR budget, operational budget, or organizational budget? Operational budget. Imagine, for example, let's say skill testing for a pilot. You need a simulator test. You need to buy a simulator so that you can test your pilots regularly on the simulator. That's a skill test we are talking. Now, that's cost of that simulator. Do you think it is HR cost? No, it is operational cost. It is cost of doing business. Okay, medical testing. Again, operational. Web development or web maintenance. Organizational. Very good. Organizational. All right. Whereas college recruitment giveaways can be your HR cost. Recruitment related travel is also calculated in the operational budget. Now, training and development. Let's talk about it. Registration, external faculty fee. What it is? Is it HR budget or operational budget? you are hiring an external faculty, it is operational budget. So see, there are, now I'm not saying there is a single formula that put everything in the part of in as operational budget. What you can also do is, and that is the common practice, is that we create a cost center. Let's say training and development is a cost center. Now, although it will make it slightly complicated, but that's the right practice. Now, let's say there is a training of our sales people. There will be a trainer for that training. There will be a venue, a menu, a coordinator. All these people are included. Their salaries, their resources, all that is included. So the total expense is, let's say for that training, is 10,000 dirham. Now this 10,000 dirham, which includes the trainer's cost and everything, will be charged to which department? Sales department. Under operational budget. So the bigger part is, the bigger costing head is operational budget. Under operational sales budget, this 10,000 dirham goes to the sales budget. Is it clear? The role of HR is to facilitate this entire process, whereas the budget is owned by the sales department. Now, tomorrow the sales department may say that, guys, we are spending a lot on the training. We don't want to spend that much. Great. It's up to you. We can reduce the training budget for you, given that you give us that kind of performance. So we will make them more accountable when we do that. Right? Okay, so next is so that was one example. Okay, similarly, there can be other examples like food and beverages is again operational, audiovisual rental operational. Now, if let's say if that is an HR training for HR people, then this entire budget becomes HR budget, or this entire cost becomes HR budget. Okay, clear? Similarly, some other elements like compensation and benefit. Okay, payroll cost. Is it internal budget, operational, or organizational? Payroll cost is the cost to manage payroll. What kind of budget is it? No, it is HR budget. Cost of managing payroll, isn't it? Which department is responsible for managing the payroll is HR. Now, how much you spend to manage that payroll is HR cost. But the salary of the employees, that is operational. You understand? Let's say your total salary is 1 million. Let's say your total salary is 1 million. To manage that 1 million, you have, to manage that salary, you have one payroll officer whose salary is 10,000 dirham plus other expenses. So that is the HR cost. That is HR budget. Payroll, that is your payroll cost. Or if you have an HRMS, HRIS, etc., to manage it, that is HR cost. That is part of HR budget. Okay. But salaries of people is operational budget. Overtime, operational budget. Health insurance, life insurance, operational budget. That is cost of doing business. All right. Only remember, cost of activities, cost of doing activities which are responsibility of HR is only HR budget. For example, the cost of visa, work permit is operational cost, right? Licensing fee, that may be operational or organizational cost, fees of license. All right. HRIS administration, what is this? Is it internal HR budget or operational or organizational? HRIS administration. Very good. It is HR budget. It is internal HR budget. Very good. Okay, it is internal HR budget. Charitable donations. Yes, it is organizational. Very good. It is organizational. All right. So I think now it is simple and it is clear for everyone. Similarly, recognition programs, service awards. So you can divide it depending on the nature of. So ESS upkeep means HR, HRIS, HRMS upkeep, HRIS administration or HRMS administration. So that will be HR budget. Okay, ESS is employee self-service. So these are various elements of HR budget, and I hope you can see it more clearly, and it is divided into various elements like we discussed: labor relations, we had compliance management, we had health safety, recruitment and selection, training and development, performance management. They all are various elements of HR budget. All right. These are various elements of HR budget. And like I said, for each category, you can further subdivide it into HR budget, internal HR budget, then operational budget and organizational budget. If you do that, then your organization can clearly see what is being spent on HR and what is the return on investment of that investment. Right? Next topic is HR audit. And we will try to understand the concept of HR audit. Any question from budgeting, guys? So basically, we try to understand what is budgeting when it is seen from the HR perspective. So if you have any question regarding that, otherwise we can go ahead with the next topic. Okay, no question. All right. So the next topic is HR audit. So again, I would like to give you some information regarding audits before we jump into this topic. And there are certain things which we need to know. There are two types of audit. So there are two types of audit. One is qualitative audit, and second is quantitative audit. Often we are familiar with quantitative audit, like your financial audits, internal or external, number audits, statistical audits. For example, sigma, value, etc. So these all are examples of quantitative audits. But there is, and usually people, when you talk to a layman and when you say audit, he will always understand a number. Audit means numbers. Normally, when you ask auditors, they will talk about numbers. But you will also find another dimension, which is often seen in manufacturing companies, even in certain service industries. We call it the qualitative side or the quality side. So, example of qualitative audits are ISO audits. Like in HR, can have best practices audit. Like in HR, we have something called great places to work. What is that? It's a quality audit. We have Dubai Quality Awards. That's a quality audit. Similarly, HR audit is a quality audit. So quality audit is focused on the process and output qualitatively. It is focused on the process and output qualitatively. You understand? So now, like in HR budget, we face the challenge many HR people really don't understand what is HR budget and how to go about it. Even in HR audit, many HR people don't understand what is HR audit. HR audit is not audit of manpower cost, pension funds, health insurance cost, etc., etc. No, it is not. All that you are referring to here, they are financial audits. HR audit is an audit which focuses on, like I said, the process and output qualitatively. So what it covers? Your HR systems, HR strategy, HR style, HR policies, HR procedures, HR practices are there, industry standards, etc. Your style, system, strategy, structure, policies, practices, procedures, standards, etc. That is part of HR audit. Again, you can see the manpower cost, training cost, etc., etc. They are not part of HR audit. Okay. I hope now it is clear what is HR audit to all of you. What about others? Ladi is saying it is clear. Edige, okay, good. Akshaya, Sonia, Daria, no doubt to anyone. That's great. Wonderful. So, what kind of audit HR audit is? It is a qualitative audit. HR audit is a qualitative audit, deals with the processes and the quality. Okay. So I'm clearing this now. Now you can understand this definition. Just read the definition and you will understand. Right? Can you read this? It is a comprehensive evaluation of human resource development strategies, structure, system, style, and skill in the context of long and short business plans. All right? That is HR audit. Evaluation of strategies, evaluation of structure, system, style, and skills. Human resource development. HRD means human resource development, future human resource development needs after assessing the current activities and inputs available. Okay. So first part is analysis of the existing structure, system, style, skill, context, etc. Second step is the needs in future. Analysis of existing and deciding the future requirements or the future needs or future changes that you need to do in your HR activities. That is the purpose of HR audit. So Dr. TVS Rao wrote it in a, I think, simpler language. If you read the next definition of Dr. Teresa, she is also saying the same thing in a slightly more complicated language. Okay, so with this, we are going to take a 15-minute break here. Just read through the statement and then we will continue after the break. All right. Okay, great. So I think this is clearly understood by everyone. And let's take a 15-minute break. We'll continue from here. I hope everyone is back. Or we do need to wait. Just share if you are back. Just put in the chat box so that we can start. Right. So we are going to continue now. HR audit, right? So why we conduct an HR audit? As the name suggests, HR audit has become very important because the strategic importance of HR is now well known. Organizations are understanding what is the strategic importance of HR. And obviously, it is not enough to invest in HR, but to invest in the right direction, to invest on the right activities and practices so that you can get return on investment. That is the purpose of an HR audit. Also, the purpose of HR audit to understand the gaps in our existing process, what can help us to align our HR activities better with our strategy and vision. It also helps us to understand the roadmap or create a roadmap for the next 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, or up to 5 years, where we can help the organization reach its vision and mission. So we need to audit HR department so that we can achieve all these results or the goals. Now, there are different types of HR audit. There are different aspects of HR audit. One is obviously the compliance audit. So compliance audit would mean making sure that you are following all the UAE labor laws, GCC compliances, and all the regulations of the relevant bodies. For example, if you are a free zone company, then you should follow the free zone authority regulations. You have to follow the mainland regulations. If you are a mainland company, you have to follow the UAE labor law, any amendments of the labor law, etc. So when auditors come, usually they look out for, apart from the basic UAE labor law, they always look out for the recent amendments. So did you notify your people for all the recent amendments that had happened in the UAE labor law? Do you train your people on regular basis about their rights or the laws pertaining to the employees and employers in UAE? So that is part of the compliance. Also, how efficient you are in managing your visa process, your quotas. Do you have fines from the labor department, or you don't have any fines? Everything is going smoothly. Do you follow all the regulations which are important for obtaining the visas or number of visas? Also, if you remember or if you know that there are classifications by the labor department, A, B, C categories, D category of the employer. So where do you stand in that classification? All that is part of the compliance audit. Then comes the best practice audit. So best practice audit usually is how efficient we are and how contemporary we are in terms of our HR practices. Do we follow the world's best practice? For example, uh, worldwide, it is known today that every organization should have a training benchmark of 40 hours of training per employee per year. Where do you stand in that best practice? Every good organization today has an employee satisfaction at least once a year, an employee engagement survey every year. Where do you stand with that? Third is also every organization today have a benchmark for employee attrition, which should be in a single digit. So total employee attrition is less than 10%. Where do you stand with that? So all these are examples of the best practices. And I'm just giving you some basic examples. I mean, it can be advanced and more impactful than all these basic indicators. Strategic. So strategic simply means strategic HR audit would mean what is your vision, what is your mission, and what is your HR strategy to achieve that vision and mission. Is it aligned? Your HR strategy, is it aligned with your organizational vision and mission? Or they are going in different direction? HR is doing something else and strategic needs are something else. That is your strategic HR audit. And then there can be, obviously there are audits related to each process of HR within HR, recruitment and selection. Now practically how it goes, you give a process to the auditor. Like I remember auditors when they came to my company 5 years back, the team of auditors, then they first asked me for all the processes in HR. So I gave them in form of a file, and also I sent them PDFs of all the HR processes. And then they actually started asking for each step. So you are saying that we take a structured interview. Can you show me the at least 4 or 5 assessments of the candidates which you did using structured interview? Also show me the questionnaire for the structured interview for at least 3 or 4 positions. Also show me what do you do after the assessment. So if you have shortlisted someone recently, can you present or can you produce the structured interview assessments, and finally based on what decision was made? So it's not just about creating a process. What the auditor wants to see is that do you follow the procedure or not, right? So like I said, it is always advisable to have a simple process and follow it, rather than having a very complicated, sophisticated process and not following it. So in audit, you get higher marks, higher score if you follow a simple process rather than not following and having a sophisticated process. You understand what I'm saying? This is very important part of audit. So always remember, you should have processes which are simpler but must be implemented. Implementation is the key here rather than having fancy things or fancy processes which you are not able to implement. So what could be covered in the compliance audit? There is a lot, and auditors always know the loopholes where they may find issues or they may find gaps, such as filing of personal files, records, emergency contact numbers, attendance, etc. Documentation in the files, is it sufficient, insufficient, etc. All this is part of compliance audit. So any doubts so far? Yeah. All right. Great. So similarly, like I shared with you compliance audit, similar examples are the best practice audit, and like I gave you few examples for best practice, like great places to work, your exit interview process, your training and development process, your training need analysis process. So all these to audit, if you have developed all these processes and you have documented it. Step one is to document all these processes. Obviously, if you have not documented it, there is no point of even auditing it. But if you have documented it, then you need to show the implementation also. A very you can say contemporary and relevant audit process which can be helpful for you to know is Dubai Quality Awards, because we have recently applied for Dubai Quality Awards, and I have prepared all the documentation and all the effort for Dubai Quality Awards. So what we did in our company was we we created this kind of so with respect to HR, we created this hierarchy of vision, mission, values, policies, and procedures. And then activities when we were applying for Dubai Quality Awards. So our goal is to get this award within next. Obviously, this stupid COVID thing happened. Otherwise, we would have applied this year only. So our goal is to get this award by either by end of 2021 or maximum by 2022. Because you have to show a growth of 3 years. So there are two aspects, like I told you. One aspect is to have the processes in place, which many organizations fail because they don't even have the process in place. Now, if you have the process in place, you have to show the implementation of the process. For example, let's say we calculated our attrition. Attrition in 2018 is 20%. Then our attrition in 2019 is 15%. Now our attrition in 2020 is 10%. So you can see there is a 20, 15, 10. There is an improvement in employee attrition. But you also have to show how this improvement came, what you did. And you cannot fake it. If you fake it, then obviously you are cheating, right? So it's a self-nominated award category where you are asking the Dubai government authorities to come and audit your company and see if you are eligible for this quality award. Like I said, what they need is a 3-year report. What you did and how you improved from 20% to 10%. So you need to have that historical data as well. So you cannot get a quality award within 1 year. That okay, today I want to apply. Obviously, if you have superior processes, everything is well set and well organized, then you can do it within 1 year. But usually it is a process of 3 years. So the way we look at it in a 3-year window. So we start with 2020 and then we end in 2022, or we started in 19, then we complete 1 year in 2020, second in 2021, third year we complete in 2022. What you need to understand here is it is not just writing the processes. It is demonstrating those processes in action. That is more important. All right. So start well. How you can start well? By starting with the vision, mission, values, policies, procedures. So you can show all alignment of your organizational processes with the strategy and vision. That's how we can say you have started well. Start well, step 1. Second is you may have lesser number of processes, but whatever you show, you must implement it. And third, show consistency and growth. It applies to not only this Dubai Quality Award, but all types of audits. Right start, implement whatever you are saying, you are doing, implement it, focus on the implementation rather than documentation, focus on the implementation. And third, continuously grow, improve continuously. If you are doing these 3 things, then you can easily get the great places to work, you can get Dubai Quality Awards, you can get whatever you want. ISO certification, you can get all if you follow these 3 fundamental aspects. Right? I hope it is clear so far to everyone. So now when we should do audit, like it was important for you to understand my perspective. Now you can easily understand what we are talking about here. When we should do audit, we should do internal audit on regular basis. I would say at least once in a year you should do internal audit. It should be part of your normal reporting, right? And you can do it through internal auditors. Obviously, apart from your HR manager or head of the department, you can also do through internal auditors, QHSC auditors. You can have an external HR auditor or external ISO auditors. And like I said, Dubai Municipality Certification, Dubai Quality Award Certification, the Great Places to Work certification, all are examples of external auditors. Okay. Scope of HR audit. I think it is fairly clear now to all of you. The scope of HR audit includes HR processes, HR systems, KPIs, etc. Now the method of HR audit. What is the method? The methods are various and it depends on the auditor what kind of method he want to use. Most of the auditors use all these methods. One is interview. So the auditor can interview the HR department, HR manager, also other departments and other line managers. So interview HR for their understanding about the HR strategy or business strategy and alignment with the business strategy. So they can interview the HR team. They can also interview the line managers and the other departments regarding how they feel about the HR function or the effectiveness, evaluation of the effectiveness of HR function in the company. So interview can be a good tool. They also can interview the senior stakeholders like the management, how satisfied the management is and how management sees the HR function. They can also have group discussions, workshops, surveys, etc. They can simply observe, the auditor can simply observe HR department performing its duties. I remember when auditor came to my company, he said, so you guys use structured interview? I said, yes. And then he said, so would you mind if I be part of one of your interview? I said, no problem. So he was sitting in the interview and he was making notes. So I was interviewing the candidate and the auditor was interviewing me. Right. So that is observation. Now, analysis of records and documents. So where they are doing analysis of our records, documents, that is simple. They may ask you for the file. Give me personal file of an employee at managerial level in 2017, 19, and 20. Somebody who joined in 17, somebody who joined in 18, 19, and 20. Give me 4 files at manager level. Now give me 4 files at the executive level. Give me 4 files at the senior level. And then they can go through the document. If they are properly documented, all the relevant information is there. Sorry. All the joining formalities are completed. Induction orientation as per your documents, it is completed or not. As per your process, it is done or not. So what are the areas of auditing? Like we said, organization's vision, mission, objectives, climate, culture, values, quality, strategy, style, leadership, policy, OD, and then systems like manpower planning, recruitment selection, induction, performance management. So these all are HR processes. Training and development, right? And then output. What you get out of auditing all these areas of HR, what you get? You get is a score. What we get is an HR audit score. So they may, after the analysis, they may come out with some kind of score. For example, in manpower planning, we are giving you 4 out of 5. We are happy with your efforts and with your systems. In recruitment and selection, we will give you 3.5 out of 5. In induction orientation, we give you 4 out of 5. But in performance management, you lack, we give you only 2 out of 5. For potential appraisals, we give you 3 out of 5. Career development, planning and development, we give you 4 out of 5. Promotions, we give you 3 out of 5. Job rotation, we give you 4 out of 5. Training, we give you 2 out of 5. Rewards and recognition, 4 out of 5. Welfare, 3 out of 5. So you can get, let's say, overall 3.5 in this case out of 5, which tells that you have good or very good standard of your HR processes. Now they can also give you, apart from this score, they can also give you a benchmarking as per your industry. So you have got 3.5 out of 5, but in your competition, in your industry logistics, the average is 4 out of 5 or average is 2 out of 5. And you stand at 3.5, which is good or very good, or maybe in some cases excellent also. So that is the benchmarking of the audit scores. The most important part, however, of the most important output of auditing is not the score that you get, is actually a report and advice which you get from the auditing agency. So they may give you a report what you should do in next 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year, and also they may give you an advice of what you should do. Okay, so that is the output that you get. So basically a roadmap from the auditor, what you should do in next 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, or whatever is your arrangement with the auditor. We cannot say. Some auditors give long-term advice, some auditors give short-term advice. So what is happening here is there is a evolution. Every company, because sometimes companies they hesitate from audit. It is my personal experience. HR people, they hesitate from audit, and they think it is really shameful if you get poor rating in the audit. Initially, we all feel that way. But what you need to understand is that it depends on the stage that company is in. You should never expect a startup company to show you all excellent processes because it is not possible. And if they're showing all the processes are excellent or well-defined processes, there is something wrong. It means they have just written it for the sake of writing. They have copy pasted it from somewhere. Because on ground, if you want to implement all processes, it requires a proper time. Minimum 3 to 5 years of time is required to understand the right processes for you, develop those processes, and then finally implement those processes. It requires a period of 3 to 5 years. So this is what we call the evolution of process maturity. Any company, when they start at level 1. Level 1 would mean there is no uniform process in place. Okay. Success, when happens, it happens because of the heroic efforts of 1 or 2 people in the company. Second is when you have well-defined process, when now process is set and the basic disciplined approach has started emerging. That is level 2. Then level 3 is your processes are documented and integrated. Your planning is done. Everyone is well aware what is our process, what we need to do. And then comes the level 4 where you identify the KPIs and manage using these KPIs. And level 5 is continuously improving your methods, continuously improving your processes over a period of time so that you go ahead from the market. Now that is applicable not only to the processes, it is also applicable to people. So let's say if you have great processes, but your people don't understand those processes, or your people are not mature enough to follow those processes. So we call it the people capability maturity model. Like over a period of time, the processes become mature. Similarly, over a period of time, people also become mature. initially, like you can see here, work workplace practices are applied without analysis of impact in the initial stage. But when we reach to the managed state, the managers now start taking responsibility of managing their people. So now they are becoming slightly more mature. Then we go to the defined stage where we have understood the business strategy, vision is clear, strategy is clear, and we have linked our workforce with that strategy, skills, competencies with that strategy that is defined. And then slowly, when people have started managing, defining, then we become predictable. Then the performance become predictable. So even with all best of effort, you can see what is happening during COVID situation. So COVID is an exception in this process because you cannot plan for a thing like COVID in advance. Obviously, you can. I'm not saying you even cannot, but rarely companies are prepared well enough for such a situation. But in a normal circumstances, you become predictable. Your business becomes predictable because you have the right competencies aligned with the goals and vision. And then optimizing, which simply means consistently going beyond, improving continuously. That is optimizing. So not only your processes should improve consistently after a period of time, but you also, your people, their competence and their capability should also enhance. That is optimizing. Right? So this is the people capability maturity model. Okay, we had discussed both. Yeah. This is end of our CHRP. So you can see today we learned two important things. One is HR audit and other is HR budget. And both these are not very conceptually really high level things, but they are very detailed. So I would say both HR audit and HR budget is more of practical implementation and doing it on day-to-day basis in your work rather than understanding it conceptually is not very important or not very. Yeah, you should have the basic idea like we discussed. What is an audit? What is covered in audit? How audit is done? What is expectations of the audit? What is the outcome of the audit? We understood. Similarly, budgeting, what is budgeting? Understanding the concept of budgeting and then using it in your day-to-day life and changing the costing codes, accounting, budgeting, all that is important. All right. So this is end of our CHRM. And like I said, if you have any questions, we can take those questions related to any other topic also. So you can take your time, write down if you have any questions. And if you don't have any questions, then also please let me know. Great. Akshay is asking, do we need to go through both CHRP and CHRM for the exam? Yes, Akshay. I can understand you have recently completed CHRM, and CHRP is quite now behind. I mean, I think you wrote your exam 1 year back or something. So yeah,
Yeah, I did it in Feb.
you did in Fab. So yeah, you may
Yeah.
feel that okay. So already I got over the CHRP thing now again.
So
But
we'll have to go through both the content together.
yes, yes. So please go
Okay.
through your CHRP content also. That is important. Um, but I'm sure because you passed it, you are not going to face big challenge. So
Yeah.
it is good for you that you have the confidence of passing the CHRP, and I'm sure you prepared for CHRP. So you just have to revise it once, so you don't have to worry about it.
But it's going to be like similar type of questions, right? Multiple choice.
Similar type of questions which you did in CHRP. The similar questions you can expect. Yes, there will be separate questions from the CHRM also. Like I always tell you, everyone, that roughly 50-50% from CHRP and CHRM. But when we say CHRM, CHRP is always inclusive, right? Yeah, so we need to go through both. 50% both, yeah, roughly, yes, Mohammed. I mean, we cannot take guarantee because sometimes we may get more from CHRP in some cases, but most of the time 50-50. Where we can get access this presentation to review everything? Daria, you can just ask your consultant. They can provide you the presentation. You don't have to worry. Just ask them. They will send you the presentation in PDF mode. Shafi is asking higher weightage chapter. Higher weightage chapter, I'm not sure about CHRM because I have seen a mixed questions being asked in CHRM. Like definitely there will be some questions from each chapter. There will be question from the first chapter, very important. Second, also important, policies, procedure, very important chapters, first two. Last four are also very important, especially last two. So first two, last two are, I could say that you may get more questions from these four chapters because the other four are covered in CHRP also. So we cannot really differentiate that this question came from the CHRP or CHRM because they are common topics in the fourth chapter starting from the recruitment selection to organization structure, because a part of that is covered in the job analysis. Then performance management, you can see some extension to what we discussed in CHRP. Balance scorecard is very important. Then total rewards is again many of the topics already discussed in CHRP. So these four are overlapping with CHRP. Hence, we cannot say exactly how many questions. But like I said, first two, integrated HR and policies procedures, and the last two, which was HR automations and services, and then HR audits and budgets. These are, I would say they might have more weightage than the other four. Yeah, even in CHRM you will get 80 questions, Patricia. All right. So if you have attended all the classes, then I'm sure you guys are going to do well. You will not face any challenge. And yeah.
So just one question. So when you say CHRP and CHRM together, so will it be 80 and 80 or will it just be total 80?
Total 80.
Okay.
Total 80. So people who are writing CHRM, they also will get 80. People who are writing CHRP will also get 80. But CHRM people, they will have 40 questions, 50 questions from the CHRM, whereas 40-50 from 40 from CHRP.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, CHRM, to be honest, is easier in that sense because overall you are getting 80 questions, right, from both textbooks, whereas CHRP is more focused on the only CHRP content. But I think this is the last batch who will be having this kind of this kind of opportunity, because recently we, after discussion with ACI, and we were planning it earlier also, but the syllabus also have been revised by ACI, and the exam pattern is also revised. So now we will be having totally different syllabus for CHRP and totally different for CHRM. Hence, totally different questions for CHRP and totally different for CHRM. I think it will start from the next month onwards. And I think exam will start from January onward, if I'm not wrong. Because if from December the syllabus is changing, the exam pattern will change from January. So from next year, we will have a totally different pattern. No, I don't have that knowledge, Sienna. I think first, I'm not sure, but I think in the morning you will have the CHRP exam. In afternoon, same time around 12:02 or something, we'll have CHRM. If you are going for CHRM exam, you don't have to write CHRP exam. If that was your question, Sienna. You don't have to write CHRP exam if you are going for CHRM. You just have to appear for the CHRM. Like Muhammad Hamouri said, we will write a combined exam. Yes. Yes, Neetu. Right. Yeah. For you guys, CHRP, CHRM, it's a combined exam. All right. Yeah. Any case, Sienna, I think check with the lady or the consultant who contacted you. Check with them. They will explain to you. Don't worry. Okay. So please share blogs for self-study after completion of the course. Yes, Shafi, sure. You guys can also take my number, especially WhatsApp. I'm available on this number. And this is my email ID. So, sorry. It's wrong. Please share your experience. Please share your review about the course. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Especially after the exam. Share your reviews and share whether you passed or not. If you passed, just share an email. Did you enjoy the course? How would you like it? Any improvements if you suggest, or anything you want to say? So just share your remarks after the exam. And I think they also will share with you the feedback, etc. also. So you can share there also. So this is my WhatsApp number. If you have any further issues or anything, then let me know. SHRM is consisting 3 levels. I think yes, because recently SHRM introduced something else also, basic level. Then we have CP, then we have SCP. 3 levels are there, yes. So if you guys have passed CHRP, CHRM, you are somewhere close to SHRM CP now. So if you want to write an SHRM CP exam and want to prepare it, you can easily get clear CP level because you have got enough knowledge from these two courses. For SHRM SCP, you need to prepare further for another 3-4 months, 6 months. You need to get their content and prepare it. Then only you should go for SCP. But for CP, you guys can really go for CP after, because you will realize when you will be doing SHRM CP, you will realize that many of the concepts we have covered in the CHRP and CHRM already. So that's a benefit of CHRP and CHRM, that it provides us the basic, I would not say basic, intermediate level of competence. Do you teach SHRM? No, Mohammed, I am not able to because I don't have time, to be honest. And there are multiple things that are going on. I'm also soon maybe finishing my doctorate. This COVID thing happened, otherwise this year I would have finished it. But I was not able to go to India and I was not able to finish that. So one more year I will be focusing there on the PhD. Plus, my Fridays are completely in training, CHRP and CHRM. I have rest only on Saturday. Other 4-5 days of the week, I am busy in my own company. So I won't be having time for SHRM, to be honest. Otherwise, initially we planned that I will teach SHRM only, but then looking at the time, and actually I don't have that time to go into it. So maybe not for now. At least for 1 year, 2 years, I will be focusing more on this area. How many days it will take for result after completion of the exam, Shafi? You will get immediately. As soon as you finish it, you will get the result. You get the score, you will get the result there and then only. Instant result. Yeah. So when you submit, you will get the result. Like driving test, true. Yeah. But don't worry, don't be nervous about it. That's what I want to tell you. Don't be nervous about it. If you have attended all the classes, you have enough knowledge to pass it now. Our passing percentage is recently, it is very, very high. I will not say 100% because that is not there, but yeah, it is very high. You can ask our previous student. I think Akshay is there. Akshay, in your previous batch, how many were not able to pass or all passed?
I'm not very sure, but I think most of them passed. I think there were just a few who didn't pass. But apart from that, I think majority passed.
Passed, yes.
Yeah.
So about 90 to, in some batches, even 95% I have seen people passing. So between 90 to 95% people pass. But yeah, sometimes some people, they don't take it seriously and don't even attend all the classes. So there you will face a challenge. Sonia is saying this is the first only test. Sonia, you have driving license? No, okay. Okay, so no, Sonia, you have done many tests before it. You have passed your matriculation, graduation, and so many things, right? It is much easier than that. So you don't have to worry. Online, yeah, it's simple. Online is equal to paper, no? You just have to read through it and you can come back to any question if you wish later on and just tick the right options. So it's simple. All multiple choice. You don't have to write anything. So believe me, online is easy. Oh yeah, you gave your CHRP in 2017, then you revising CHRP is one thing for you. Yes. I think you were in the class in the morning, right? I shared the story. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Sonia is saying be there on WhatsApp. Huh? All right. Okay, guys. So take care and stay safe. Best wishes for the exam. I'm sure you all are going to do well. During the week, you have any issues or any questions, you can ask. Okay. Don't hesitate. I have given you my number also. Don't call me during the exam. Even I will not take the call because I will be teaching on the Friday. So yeah, so stay safe and prepare. And if you during the week, if you have any issues, just let me know. All right. Once you pass, drop me a message or an email. All right. And then stay in touch also. Thank you. Thank you for Diwali wishes. Happy Diwali to you as well, all Indian friends. Akshaya, Neetu, Sonia, Yatiraj, all of you, happy Diwali. Guys who don't know Diwali, it is the biggest Indian festival. Yeah, it's like Eid for us. So it's that equally important. And yeah, thank you, Sienna. And for others also, the next week, the weekend is coming, right? But you will be having an exam. Oh my God, that's cruel. Okay, so you guys, no, but you will pass before the exam, isn't it? You have on 27th. Yeah, yeah. It's in the month end. The holidays are in the month end. That's good for you. Okay, so enjoy your holidays. 4 5 days are there next month. And like I said, stay in touch. All right, one more information, guys. Our jobgulf.com is live now. We already have started posting jobs. People have started posting jobs. If you are an employer, you can post jobs for free on our website. Just write an email. You can write an email to me also or anyone else. We will give you the free package. The website name is jobgulf.com. www.jobgulf.com. So you can just message me for a package. We will give you a free package for some time. You can have free job postings there. You can even create your CV, resume, free of cost. Templates are available. Use any template and create your own resume. For your company, if you are an employer, you can post free jobs on this website. This will be shared with all our database also. All our students, they can get benefit. So it's a great tool for us to connect back with our students and give them something, share this platform with them, and also get real jobs and real opportunities to our people. All right, guys, great. Thank you for joining the sessions, and I enjoyed a lot with you guys. Thank you for all the time, respect you gave, and I hope you learned something from this mutual arrangement. So I always end up having more long-term relationships with people, and I'm hoping same with you guys. Stay connected. This market is all about networks. So if you are connected, you never know when I need you, you need us. This is how this market functions, right? Yeah, great, wonderful. Yes, stay in touch and keep safe, guys. Stay safe. Bye bye. See you then. All right. Thank you. Thank all of you. Thank you, Tamur. Thank you, Wali, Laddie, Akshay, Daria, Sonia. Thank you, Shafi, Neetu. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Maria, just do well in your exam. Patricia, I hope soon you will send a good news about you passing the exam. All right. Kathy, take care. Bye bye. All right. Bye, everyone.